Hey friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
So the Wednesday Night War is upon us. This coming week marks the debut of AEW Dynamite on TNT. And of course, NXT is giving us a takeover level show with the NXT Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, and the tag titles up for grabs to compete with AEW's debut.
But just as the Monday Night War came to conclusion back in 2001 after 6 years when Vince McMahon purchased WCW on the shocking last episode of Nitro, this war has to end somehow, some way, at some point.
Yeah, surely at some point prior to the sun engulfing the earth, something will give, right?
Yeah, so today we'll look at every possible outcome of the Wednesday Night War. And we're not just talking about how the war will end, but how it will change wrestling as we know it today.
Let's take a look at the least likely scenario first. AEW New Japan Supergroup. Let's face it, WWE is a giant. They didn't even have to throw one of their two main roster brands at AEW to launch their side of this war. They didn't even have to use NXT to counter AEW's last big show All Out to steal buzz from AEW. They threw their sub-NXT promotion, NXT UK, and stole the August 31st skirmish with a huge Tyler Bate Walter Classic.
At some point, AEW might want to team up with another company, or maybe several, to form a super promotion to counter WWE. Think about the buzz it would give AEW and New Japan if they were to team up for their own invasion angle, but done right.
Yeah, you can't tell me that the Elite versus Bullet Club in the feud that we should have got last year wouldn't draw massive ratings on Wednesday nights. And maybe, just maybe, lead to some sort of merger between the two companies, and we'd get two dominant wrestling promotions on the planet.
That partnership might lead to even more companies coming on board. Imagine adding to that supergroup the Impact roster, and what's left of Ring of Honor, and the face of the wrestling industry could change forever.
Now, how likely is this? Not very.
No.
AEW seems to have rubbed both Ring of Honor and New Japan the wrong way simply by existing. Impact has been rumored to be interested in buying Ring of Honor, and New Japan wants nothing to do with Impact, seemingly. And as we've seen in the past with debacles like Super Clash, promotions don't usually work well with each other.
No, it's a shame, too, because All Elite Wrestling New Japan dream matches would definitely counter the dream match scenarios WWE has set themselves up with. Who isn't dying to see Kushida versus Walter in the all-caps named wrestler match teased in that first NXT on USA? Goldberg versus Matt Riddle? Sure, why not? But then flip on over and see Okada versus Omega 5 on TNT? Probably not going to happen, but good lord, we want to see it.
It's too exciting an outcome, Larson. Let's move on to the next one. WWE Prize AEW. Profit drives everything in the world of 2019 business, Larson. It's not enough just to be profitable. You have to be exponentially profitable.
Infinite growth! And given that Tony Khan is from an extremely profitable family, it might be that he sees an opportunity in AEW to build something from the ground up, make it really profitable, and then sell it for all the money.
And if he chose to do that, there'd be a one suitor with enough cash and interest to outbid anyone. That, of course, is Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like AEW is more of a passion project for Tony Khan, though, an expensive industry-changing hobby. So this outcome isn't terribly likely unless he gets bored of wrestling or sees it as something more of a hassle than anything.
If he were to build AEW into a true competitor to WWE, it seems unlikely that he'd sell it. And it'd be sad if he did, too, because as we saw before, when the WWE's competition goes away, Vince tends to get lazy with his product.
On the other hand, if AEW sticks around long enough, we might get this next scenario. WWE AEW Partnership. Okay, so if or when Vince McMahon steps down or, goes away, and Triple H takes over the company, it's entirely possible the game would find value in working with other wrestling companies the way WWF did way back when.
Triple H might want to work with AEW to co-promote annual super shows to give wrestling fans dream matchups like Cody versus himself, the Young Bucks versus the New Day, Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles versus Finn Balor versus Adam Cole, baby.
Even though Triple H recently said he has no interest in anyone on AEW's roster, come on, we all know he was trying his damnedest like a year ago to get the Elite to sign with WWE, so he might do whatever it takes to work with them once they've shown staying power. As much as it might benefit AEW, it would benefit WWE huge if the fans had the perception that WWE really actually wanted to give wrestling fans what they thought they'd never have.
They'd get cool points.
Yeah, you know what wouldn't be cool though? This next scenario. AEW wins, NXT gets canceled, goes back to the WWE Network. So, we're about to get into some really nerdy TV talk here, so please bear with us. From what we understand, USA had to pony up some money, maybe upwards of like $50 million up front to air NXT. But I don't believe that's the case in the AEW TNT deal. I think TNT is paying for cost of production, that's making the show, then AEW TNT are splitting the ad revenue.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But how does that relate to NXT getting canceled?
Well, in TV land, higher ratings lead to higher ad rates charged for commercials.
Yeah.
So say the ratings for NXT start out hot, but settle to the level of Impact circa early 2015, somewhere around $500,000 per episode.
Okay.
It's possible that USA could say to themselves, hey, USA Network, there's about a half dozen other shows you could be running in this time spot that could produce better ratings and therefore make more money. Maybe you should cancel NXT since you're losing money airing it. And so they do, and NXT goes back to the WWE Network.
Oh, but since TNT isn't forking over as much money up front for AEW, maybe they can stomach lower revenues, yeah?
Maybe. I don't know, really. WWE's long-standing relationship with USA might give them a bit of latitude with NXT if it ever runs into ratings problems. But with the glut of pro wrestling currently on TV, it's entirely possible that viewers get burnt out. Stop watching all 7 hours of WWE weekly content. Add to that 2 hours of AEW, 2 hours of Impact. Now they're on Access, and that's a lot of wrestling to watch every single week.
Wait. You're going to tell me there's 11 hours of wrestling to watch on television every week?
Yes. And that's not even including NXT UK, 205 Live, assuming that sticks around, or pay-per-views. Now let's look at the other side of that scenario. NXT wins! AEW turns into Impact 2.0. You see, if WWE had their druthers, this would be how the Wednesday Night War would play out. Either NXT smashes AEW in the ratings, or AEW just kind of flounders out of the gate. Either way, AEW sticks around without encroaching on WWE's market dominance whatsoever.
Then in a few years, TNT decides to give up on pro wrestling, again, and doesn't renew their deal with Tony Khan and AEW. So All Elite will be on the lookout for a new TV deal, which could lead them to a deal with a sub-TNT network. That's then canceled. Then they move to a sub-TNT station. Then that's canceled. Then they either start streaming on Twitch or forge an agreement with a channel that's not carried on any cable providers, or both, all in an attempt to stay afloat until they can either find a new broadcast partner or, well, buy one.
Sounds a lot like Impact, doesn't it?
Actually, I just described Impact exactly, Steve.
Then that's why, yeah. Anyways, all of AEW's EVPs could just eventually leave to get one last huge payday and a WrestleMania moment with WWE, but since Tony Khan has enough money he can keep his company alive since he really loves pro wrestling, he'd end up being like Billy Corgan in TNA, or now with NWA.
Man, imagine if other 90s alternative rock legends invested in pro wrestling companies, man. That'd be great. Eddie Vedder brings you AAW.
Dave Grohl's Defy Wrestling.
PWG brought to you by Tom DeLonge.
I don't know, man. I think Tom DeLonge is more interested in rating Area 51 than leading the charts at WWE, man.
Fine. Anyway, AEW's continual search for a broadcast partner will reach such a low point that Triple H buys the company's tape library for a 3-year subscription to Sizzlefish. I hear Triple H loves his salmon, and the WWE Network can add an extra tier, the All Elite tier, for the low price of $19.99 a month.
What the hell is Sizzlefish?
I did a Google search for fish subscription services, and that was like the third result down.
That sounds delicious,
yeah,
actually.
Man.
You know what else sounds delicious? This next and most likely scenario. Everything thrives! All right, imagine a wrestling landscape where every company fulfills their potential, takes advantage of every opportunity, and at every turn does everything right by their talent and their fans. This wrestling utopia may not seem likely, but it is entirely possible that in the case of the Wednesday Night War, it could very well happen.
Because really, the bar for success for both NXT and AEW, I would think, would be to maintain a viewership somewhere around 1 to 1.25 million viewers over the course of the next decade or so. You'd think those numbers would be enough to keep their broadcast partners happy. And so long as both companies have major cable outlets back in their play, they'll have a large platform to reach their fan bases.
Yeah, the real issue that faces AEW is building new stars. Kenny, Cody, and the Young Bucks won't be able to wrestle forever, so if AEW can use the BTE star-making machine that's made Hangman Page into an almost household name for other up-and-coming talents, then the future looks bright. Then maybe 10 to 15 years from now, if they develop a roster of true superstars, if they write interesting and compelling creative stories, and if they put on incredible matches, then maybe they can start making inroads on WWE's market dominance.
Kinda does seem like wishful thinking, but heck, we're eternal optimists, damn it. Just think about it. The market would adjust itself for 2 huge wrestling promotions. Fans would benefit from real competition, and the wrestlers would benefit by hopefully becoming employees of the respective companies, getting more money and actual benefits, workers' comp, health insurance, retirement plans, and so on. In the process, everyone would benefit if both companies thrive.
Yeah, it would truly be some Star Trek The Next Generation type shit, man. Most of the wrestling universe thriving and living in relative harmony, with Triple H serving as the Jean-Luc Picard of the USS WWE, and Cody, Kenny, Nick, and Matt Jackson more or less being, I don't know, Captain Janeway and the crew of Voyager, I guess?
I thought you didn't like Voyager.
No, you're thinking of Enterprise. I like Voyager. You're thinking of Enterprise. That show is a pile of shit.
Oh, so who would be Captain Jonathan Archer in this analogy?
Probably like Ed Nordholm.
What about the Cardassians?
Oh, there's Sinclair. You guys get that reference? So those are the outcomes of the Wednesday Night Wars we could think of. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. And oh yeah, while you're at it, if you want one possible outcome of watching this video to be looking great, go to friendomarket.com and check out this shirt sticker pack celebrating our 5th anniversary.
Yeah, it's got this cool shirt you can see in this image here featuring the artwork by artist Juan Ortiz, a glow-in-the-dark Going in Raw sticker, a hologram Slow Wolf sticker, and another sticker, and a postcard. It's just great.
And be sure to hit that sub button and notify bell if you want your Going in Raw content. I mean, let's be honest, the only actual outcome of the Monday Night Wars or the Wednesday Night Wars, Disney buying up all those companies.
It's true, they're buying everything now.
They're going to buy Warner's, they're going to buy Sony, they're going to buy everything.
Everything.
Yeah.